Okay, so you know how we love to take like the stuff that's on your mind and like really break it down.
Yeah,
Do a deep dive.
totally.
Well, today we're talking about real estate,
Big one.
which if you're if you're even thinking about maybe making a move,
Oh, yeah.
that question of like, is now the right time?
Is now the right time?
It's like huge.
Oh, it's loaded.
Right.
So much anxiety around that.
Yeah, you see the headlines, you hear people talking about it, and like with interest rates going up and down, it's like,
And sideways.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how do you even know?
Right? Are you going to overpay? Are you going to miss out?
Right, you can regret this like 2 years down the line.
Totally.
So you're probably thinking about like, okay, should I wait for interest rates to drop a little bit more? Are more houses going to come on the market soon? Like, what about the economy? Like, what's going on?
What's going on? Exactly.
So to like really get into this, we have a blog post called Rethinking Real Estate, Stop Chasing the Elusive Perfect Time. And this is written by Susie Karstedt
Okay.
from Rethinking Real Estate in Lake Tapps, Washington.
Okay.
And she has 23 years of experience in real estate,
Wow.
which is like
That's like a whole career. That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she's seen like a lot of market cycles.
Right. She's seen it all.
Yeah. And her tagline is, where 23 years of expertise meets coffee-fueled honesty.
Ooh, I love that.
So I feel like we're going to get like a very grounded perspective here.
Grounded and honest and caffeinated.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we need.
So yeah, 23 years, like she's really seen it all. And, she's addressing this feeling we all have of like, is this the moment?
Yeah, that FOMO. You
Yeah.
know, that fear of missing out or making the wrong move.
Right. Or like, I just bought and now it's going to crash, or I just sold and now it's going to skyrocket.
Exactly. You're always going to second guess yourself unless you have like the perfect information.
Right. And like, how could you? So like we said, we're going to like dive deep into this and really figure out, based on her expertise, what is her argument for not trying to time the market?
Yeah. When should you make a move?
Right.
According to Susie.
Yeah.
I love that she gets it.
Yeah.
At the top, she's like, I understand why these concerns might keep you on the sidelines. Wanting lower interest rates, more inventory.
Just wanting like a stable economy. Like,
Right, exactly. Just feeling good about things.
knowing that things aren't going to like totally go off the rails right as you like sign on the dotted line.
For sure. For sure. But then she kind of like pivots.
Yeah.
She's like, but trying to pinpoint the absolute best moment to buy or sell often leads to missed opportunities and unnecessary stress.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Right. And this is coming from someone who's been in the game for over 20 years and has seen it all.
Yeah, like she's seen hot markets, slow markets.
Sideways markets, everything you can imagine.
Yeah, so like what do you think is like one of the biggest misconceptions she encounters?
Well, that thing that we always hear,
Oh, yeah.
this time is different.
Oh, yeah.
The market's never acted like this before.
Right.
But what does Susie say?
Well, she says,
Go ahead.
she's like, well, actually, the real estate market and like the economy in general have always gone through these periods of like uncertainty and change.
Right, there are always cycles.
Yeah.
She even compares it to the stock market, over the long term.
Right.
It's trended upwards.
Yeah.
Despite like all the craziness.
Yeah, all the ups and downs.
Exactly. So I think that's a really good point. It's like a good reminder that things tend to work out over time.
Yeah, it's like a more of a long-term view.
Right. Exactly.
So, okay, if that's kind of like the background, what is her like main piece of advice?
Well, she has this rule of thumb
Okay.
that I just love, and it's basically the best time to buy or sell is when it makes sense for you.
Oh, I like that.
It's so simple, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about what the news is saying or what some expert is predicting.
Right.
It's about your individual circumstances.
So it's like less about like the market and more about your life.
Exactly. Your life, your finances, your goals.
Okay, so like how does she back that up?
Well, she brings in some data
Okay.
because, we love data.
We love data.
So she talks about how people who try to time the market
Mm-hmm.
often underperform
Okay.
compared to those who just consistently invest based on their needs
Right.
and goals.
So like they're just trying to be too smart.
Right. They're trying to outsmart the market
Yeah.
and they miss out on those key moments of growth.
It's like they're waiting for the perfect time and it never comes, or like,
Or it comes and goes and they missed it.
yeah, and they didn't even realize it. And then
Yeah.
they're like kicking themselves.
Totally.
So she has some specific examples that are really interesting, like from the real estate world.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more.
Okay. So she mentions a 2023 Zillow study
Okay.
that found that a lot of homeowners regretted not selling when the market was strong.
Oh, wow.
So they were like waiting, and then they missed out.
And then they're like, man, I should have sold a year ago.
Right when my house was worth like twice as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The what ifs are always going to haunt you.
Right.
It's like that with everything, but especially real estate.
Yeah. And on the buying side, she has another study from Redfin.
Okay.
And this one found that buyers who waited for prices to drop actually ended up paying more overall.
What? How is that possible?
Because interest rates went up.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so even though they got a lower price on the house itself, their monthly payments were way higher.
So it's like a wash or even worse.
Yeah, it's like you're actually paying more in the long run.
Totally. And I think that's something that people don't always consider.
Yeah, they're so focused on like the sticker price.
Right. Just that number.
Yeah, but the interest rate is like a huge factor.
Huge factor.
Yeah, so trying to like time the market for that perfect price dip, it could backfire.
Big time.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So those are like the more obvious costs. But then she also talks about like some of the less obvious ones.
Okay, like what?
Well, if you're delaying buying rent, you might be paying rent for longer.
Right. You're just throwing money away every month.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, if you're holding off on selling, you might miss out on potential appreciation.
Oh, right. Your home could be increasing in value and you're just sitting on it.
Yeah. And then like the biggest one I think is like the emotional toll.
Oh, yeah, the stress.
The stress of like always wondering what if.
Right. And constantly checking the market and reading the headline.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
It's so exhausting.
Yeah, and like she talks about how fear and greed can really like cloud our judgment.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like you might be so afraid of making the wrong move that you don't make any move.
You're paralyzed.
Yeah, you're just stuck.
And then on the other hand, you might get so greedy.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, price is going to keep going up and up.
Yeah.
And then you end up overpaying or holding on to a property for too long.
Right, you miss out on the actual like good opportunity because you're like so focused on this like mythical future opportunity.
Exactly. And she really emphasizes that you should base your decisions on your own life and your long-term goals.
Right, not on like what some random person on the internet is saying.
Right, or some headline.
Yeah, or
know.
like your neighbor.
Or your neighbor, exactly.
Yeah.
Unless your neighbor is Susie Karstedt.
Right.
With 23 years of experience.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, maybe she'd be like, don't talk to me. I need a break from real estate.
Right.
Yeah, so she also talks about this thing called recency bias.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Well, it's basically like our tendency to like overemphasize recent events.
Okay.
Like when we're making decisions.
Yeah.
So let's say all the news lately has been about how the housing market is slowing down.
Okay. Yeah.
We might like freak out and think, oh no, it's all going to crash.
Right.
But if you look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And the long-term trends.
Yeah.
Maybe things aren't actually that bad. So she's saying that we tend to give too much weight to what's happening right now.
Right.
And we forget about the historical patterns.
It's like we're just like so caught up in the moment.
Totally. We're all drama queens.
Yeah.
When it comes to real estate.
Yeah.
So what does she say actually influences the market over the long term?
Yeah, if it's not these like short-term fluctuations.
Well, she talks about like the fundamental economic factors.
Okay.
Like population growth, job creation.
Okay.
Supply and demand.
Those make sense.
Right. Those are like the basic building blocks.
Yeah.
And those things tend to be pretty stable over time.
Okay.
Even if there are ups and downs in the short term.
Right.
She also makes this interesting point that just like policymakers don't usually try to mess up the financial markets.
Right.
These underlying drivers of real estate are usually working towards growth and stability.
Yeah.
So it's not like some evil mastermind is out there trying to crash the housing market.
Right. Or like intentionally manipulate it to like benefit themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more like a natural system.
Okay.
With its own rhythms and cycles.
So like when you put it all together, what's the like main message she's trying to get across?
It's actually really simple.
Okay.
She says, timing the market is a myth. Timing your life now that makes real estate magic happen.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah. It's like so clear.
So empowering.
Yeah. And it really shifts the focus, like you were saying earlier,
Right.
from like trying to predict the unpredictable
Right.
to like really aligning your decisions with your own life.
Exactly. Your life, your goals.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to figure out if it's the perfect time to buy or sell, she has these 3 questions that you should ask yourself.
Okay. I like this.
Yeah. So the first one is, does this move make sense for my life right now?
Okay. So that's like really personal.
Totally. It's about your job, your family, your lifestyle, where you want to live.
Yeah.
The second question is, am I financially in a position to do this smartly?
Okay. So that's like the practical side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you actually afford it?
Yeah.
Do you have the resources?
Right.
Are you going to be house poor?
Right.
And the third question is, do I have a guide who can walk me through the facts, not the fear?
Okay, so that's where she comes in.
Exactly. She's like,
Yeah.
I can be your guide.
Right.
I can help you navigate this
Yeah.
based on real data and real market knowledge.
Not just like vibes.
Not just vibes.
Yeah.
Though vibes are important.
They are important, but not for like a 6-figure financial decision.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you answer yes to all three of those questions, that's basically your green light.
Oh, I love that.
Right. It's so simple.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a market expert.
You don't have to have like a crystal ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just need to know yourself.
Your life and like your finances.
And have a good guide.
And have someone to like help you through it.
Yeah, someone you trust.
Yeah.
Who's not going to steer you wrong.
Okay, so like as we're wrapping up here,
I know.
what's like the main takeaway from Susan's blog post?
I think it's just this idea of like shifting your mindset.
Okay.
Stop trying to outsmart the market.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable.
You can't win that game.
You can't win that game.
Yeah.
Focus on what you can control.
Your own life.
Exactly. Your life, your goals.
Yeah. And then like the perfect time will kind of reveal itself.
Right. It's not like a specific date on the calendar.
It's not like, oh, you have to buy on a Tuesday
Right.
in March.
Exactly.
That Mercury is in retrograde.
Don't even get me started on Mercury retrograde. But Susie does encourage people to reach out to her company,
Oh, yeah.
Rethinking Real Estate.
Okay.
If they're thinking about making a move,
Okay.
they can help you understand how much your home is actually worth right now,
Okay.
what the market is really like in your area.
So they'll like cut through all the noise.
Exactly. No more headlines.
Yeah, just the facts.
Just the facts. And they can help you figure out if now's a good time for you
Okay.
to buy or sell.
So it's like a personalized approach.
Totally.
Mhm.
And she emphasizes that there's no pressure.
Okay.
They're just there to give you information.
Like empower you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as you're thinking about all of this, here's a final thought for you.
Okay, hit me.
What is the cost of waiting?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. What if you're waiting for this perfect moment
Right.
and it never comes?
And life just passes you by.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, I could have been like living my dream life in my dream home.
Or I could have sold my house and like traveled the world.
Right.
Yeah. FOMO is real.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so is the fear of making the wrong move.
Yeah. So it's like finding that balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think about your goals,
Your life.
your finances.
Yeah. And like how all of those things intersect with your real estate dreams.
I love that word, intersect.
Yeah.
It's like a Venn diagram of your life.
And your home.
And your home. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go draw a Venn diagram now.
Okay. I think that's a good place to leave it.
Yeah, thanks for diving deep with us.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.